Oh, I really like today's title, Jordan. The Epic of Disrespect. Why kids talk to parents differently today and how to stop it without yelling. Kind of dramatic title, you know?
It is dramatic. You can use my method, duct tape. That always works. Never ends well with the wife, but it's worth the try.
So here's what we're doing today, everyone, is because if you have a lot of disrespect in your home, you are not alone. My
Yeah.
team and I take these consultation calls all the time from
hmm
parents from all around the country saying, Sean, how can we work with you? What do you do? We need your help. And there's just a big theme that's been going on. It's like, why is my kid so disrespectful? I would never talk to my kid this, or I would never talk to my parents when I was a kid. It's like the sibling issue, the eye rolling, the sarcasm, the ignoring, the
hmm
stonewalling, the moodiness, the following around the house, the walking away, the screen issue. It's like, what happened? Why does it feel, Jordan, that our kids today, for the last 15, 20 years, this generation, it's like there's so much disrespect. You can see it when you walk in the streets, even.
I mean, I think it's an easy answer, but this is
Ooh.
not going to be publicly a PC. Let's just put it
Oh,
that
oh,
way.
I like
We
that's
we
I
we
like
got.
when everyone says that. I always get
I
curious.
mean,
It's not PC. What's on your mind?
we got rid of physical punishment,
Oh, are
right?
you serious? Is
So
that your are you
I
I think you're
this is my
are you being
analysis. I mean,
honest?
think about
You're
this.
not being funny right
Yeah,
now.
I'm being honest with you
I
right now.
think
No, I'm not. Think about this for a
yeah, I
second.
think you're
Like,
onto something
if
actually. As
if
sad
if
as it
you have
is, yeah.
parents
Yeah.
that say, "I would have never talked to my dad that way,"
Mhm.
and if you were to follow up, be like, "Okay, what would happen if you did?" I
Mhm.
bet the answer is I would have got smacked across the face.
That's a fine.
So
That's got to be a
there
part
was
of the
this.
reason.
It's got to be.
It's got to be.
There's this sense of fear. Like, I don't want to do this because I'm
Right.
fearful for what could happen,
Uh-huh.
right? So we as a society took that away,
Yeah.
and we think that you can't introduce something else
Mhm.
and the kids are just going to be perfect. No,
Mhm.
if you're going to take something away, you have to introduce something else, which you're going to talk about
Right.
today, that will actually help them
Right.
from creating eye rolls, being
Yeah.
sarcastic, ignoring you,
Right.
talking back, mocking you, right?
Mhm.
Walking away, right? So that's what you're here to
Or
introduce us to.
you know what? What Jordan just said was not in our kind of show notes. We actually have 4 stats that we're going to share right now that help contribute to that answer of why are kids so disrespectful today. And no, we don't have in the notes, well, because we don't beat our kids anymore, but that's actually true. You know what? I had 3 visions just pass through my head while I was listening to you. Can I tell them really quick? The
Sure.
first one is 2 years ago, a TV series hit Netflix and it went nuts. It was filmed out of England, and it was called, I think it's called Adolescence. It's a very dark drama. Have you seen it? I think we talked about it. I
No.
think I wrote a couple blogs on it. Really
Okay.
dark drama. Very, very popular. One of the top 5 most popular shows on Netflix of all time. And one of the
Wow.
scenes it shows in there is it shows these, I think they're middle school age kids, maybe like early high school, and all the children in the school are like lining up on the blacktop, and they're all just being
hmm
so disrespectful to the adults and to the
To the adults,
parents.
to the
It's
teachers, to
like
the
I
parents.
was like
Yeah,
watching this, like I was like, this is so hard, and that's normal though. Like I was like,
I
this is
know.
how dark it is. They're just showing us how disrespectful kids are to adults. You know?
Right. And imagine that same scene in uh, Matilda, right? No
Oh,
kid's gonna talk
Matilda.
back to Miss
Good
Trunchbull,
point.
right?
Good
So
point.
that's the exact opposite.
When I was in the Philippines, we saw hundreds of kids at 3 Hope Centers. If you haven't heard that episode, go back last week and listen to it. One thing that was just stood out, there was 2 things that really stood out to me
Hmm.
that I haven't mentioned from last episode. The children were so well behaved, man. So
Wow.
well behaved. Like I didn't see one time a child getting out of
Yeah.
line or being corrected. Can I tell you
Huh.
something else stood out to me? This one's really
Yeah. Why
interesting.
is that? Please.
Well,
Yes.
I don't know
Yes.
why, because it's just a
Yeah.
different culture. Maybe they don't have what some of the issues we're about to just talk about. But here's the
Right.
second one. So I brought a bunch of basketballs. We went to the mall and we bought basketballs. We also bought some basketball hoops. And so we did these kids clubs.
Nice.
And were you aware the Filipinos like basketball?
I mean, I think everybody likes basketball. Taking a ball and shooting a hoop, that's pretty cool. But no, I didn't know this was like their thing. No, I had no
So
idea.
they do love basketball and they love badminton and volleyball. Those are like three very popular sports in the Philippines. So I taught these Filipino kids this game called Knockout. It's a very
Yeah.
popular American basketball game that most kids know how to play it. We're just like you're kind of shooting free throws and you're trying to knock out the other person by shooting and making the basket before they make a basket. Jordan, I looked at all these kids. Almost every single one of these boys could shoot this ball very well, and almost every single
Really?
one of the boys had the strength to like make a basket or almost hit a basket. And I thought, if this was a line of 25 American boys, the line would be very different. Like there'd be boys that had no clue on how to hit the rim, didn't have the strength to even get the ball to the net. Like the visual difference between a Filipino boy and an American boy is striking. Now, we have a lot of
Really?
fit American boys, but we also have big issues with obesity and strength in America. And I think it all kind of incorporates into what we're going to be talking a little bit about today. All right, that's my story.
Yeah.
All right, I don't know if that.
I mean, it's a great story. I wouldn't have anticipated that. I mean, you could even argue that we've got too many gaming kids, and so they're almost a little scrawny. They're
That's what I'm
weak. They've never
talking
shot a
about.
basketball
Yes, that's
before.
exactly what I'm
I
talking
know.
about.
I
Right?
know it is.
They spend
I
so much
get that.
time
So
playing basketball games and playing and watching people play
and
sports
watching people
or
play,
watching
right?
people do things versus actually doing them.
Yeah. I would love our culture to have the kids that you're talking about in the Philippines,
Yeah.
the respect. You said they got good head on their shoulders. They were all very polite and
They
nice.
were.
And it doesn't have to come down to stuff. We got too much stuff. I think a lot of our kids are spoiled. So I'm hoping what tips we provide today will
Yes.
actually give us some perspective and some
We
help.
got some really good stuff for you here. Let's start off with some stats. We got four really kind of powerful stats that are really going to help us guide and understand and grow as parents in a culture of disrespect. Jordan, get us started.
All right, so a lot of the parents that were reported in this, they report disrespect as one of their top parenting challenges. Of everything that you have a problem with when it comes to parenting, disrespect tops the charts. Recent survey here from Pew Research Center found that many parents identify teaching respect and managing behavior as one of the bigger challenges that they expect or that they have to deal with, especially during the years that I'm going through right now, tween teenage years. It is rough.
Yeah, my
So
gosh, yes.
it's not just your house. It's
Yeah.
not just my house. We're all doing this together. Millions of us are dealing with the same thing.
I was chatting with some VIP members yesterday, and some are really having a hard time with the elementary age. And then there were some other parents who were like, oh, I missed that age.
I know.
As soon as they reach 11 or 12, they get the hormones and then they become teens. And that is tough. It's like there's just no formula. Every kid is so different. Don't you agree? It's like,
I agree. And that's why you have to appreciate the now,
yeah.
because I think the people who are having a hard time with the elementary school kids have elementary school kids. And then those same people will have teenagers will be like, oh, I miss those days. So
Yeah.
you just,
Yeah,
I know
appreciate
the
the now.
stage you're in seems like it sucks, but enjoy it, try to get better, and just keep rocking it.
Stat number 2, I think, is not about disrespect, but it's about something else. Listen to this. Teenagers spend more time with screens than parents. That's right. Research.
so
I know, man. Research from Common Sense Media has consistently found teens spend around 8+ hours per day. It's so hard to say. Consuming entertainment media, not including homework. It just doesn't make sense. Not
I think
including
that
sitting there.
some of the countries you mentioned on the podcast weeks ago, they're banning, like social media for kids under a certain age. I've seen more and more countries adopt
Was
that
it
plan.
England that just banned it like
I think
last
it was
week?
England.
Yeah,
I think
England.
it was
We've done
England.
Australia. We've done other countries. We did a whole great episode. You should listen to it about phone-free schools. I'm really hopeful that we are in the decade or even the next 5 years of hopefully figuring this out. Oh my gosh, school-only computers. Trust me, everybody. That is the future of education. Go back and listen to my Chromebook episode and the stupidity and the dumbness of school-issued Chromebooks or iPads. All right, stat number 3, Jordan. What do you got?
Hey, if families are out there and you guys try to do at least, let's just say twice a week, a family dinner, just give yourself a pat on the back. You're winning because family conversations are dying and they're declining. Multiple studies are showing that families spend significantly less face-to-face time together than in previous generations. And ultimately, one of the best ways to do that is to sit down for dinner every night, because then you see each other face to face and you can actually have conversations.
Right.
If you don't make that a point, you got to find time to do that sometime else, and that can be hard with day-to-day chaos.
Gosh, so sad to hear that. Think about this, everyone. You can't transmit family values when nobody is talking or connecting,
That's a good point.
right?
In fact, my family is about to go on a road trip.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I'm dreading this road trip. It's like 10 and a half hours. I'm like, this is going to be
That's
so long, but we're
tough.
breaking it up.
Yeah.
We're going
Okay.
to go 5 hours.
Yeah.
We're going to stay at a little hotel with a pool. They're going to
Uh-huh.
swim, and then we're going to wake up and drive the other 5 hours. But my wife looks over, she goes, what are you talking about? I'm so excited for us to go on a road trip. I'm like, why? She goes, because we are stuck in a car
Yeah.
all together,
Yeah.
and we get to be together and actually like talk to each
Yeah.
other and not have the kid over at this practice, or someone's riding the bike down this person's at summer camp, or they're all over the place. It's like, no, you are confined into this one vehicle
Yes.
for several hours so you can have those talking points.
Let me just tell you a story I've never even told before. We drove down from Sacramento to San Diego like a month ago, and at the end of the trip, I realized that I just been kind of giggling and laughing the whole car ride down, and I realized why. So I turned to my 16-year-old daughter, Miley, and I said, Miley, you know what I just realized? You were like cracking me up this whole trip. You with these like random comments about this and about that. And have you ever thought about this? And you know what I was thinking? And I realized like that was like a great car ride because of you. And then she said something that really warmed my heart. She's like, you know what? Thanks. I was really just, trying to not be on my phone and just trying to be present. And thanks. And I was
That's
like,
cool.
that's so cool. Now, she was on
That
her
is so
phone a lot more on the way home, which I can't blame her. She's 16 and it's
Yeah.
a 9-10 hour drive. But to that point, like, how do we not let screens rob us from
Right.
road trips, from family dinners, and just driving around and being together?
Did you guys play any road games? Do people even still play road games? Like,
Dude.
do you guys remember the license plate game?
Yeah.
There used to be Slug Bug back in the day, I Spy, all that stuff.
Road bands can be good, but then, your kids start getting a little older, it's kind of annoying. Are you into road games, or are you kind of annoyed by it?
No, that's why I wanted. Do people ever do those anymore? No, I haven't done a road game forever.
All right.
bring one
Stat
back.
number 4. You've heard this before. Well, teen anxiety is at historic heights. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention has reportedly told us over and over that high levels of teen sadness, hopelessness, and emotional distress. What's going on? Well, many disrespectful teens are actually dysregulated kids. So they're disconnected from their family. They're on these stupid screens, looking at God knows what, comparing themselves, dopamine, playing fantasy games. And what does this make? Well, we know it's like a math problem. It produces depressed, anxious, pale kids. And it's also then is hurting the parent-child relationship, which is then going to lead to disrespectful kids. It's all connected.
Right. And listen, we've all gone through this, and we're going through this right now, and you have your specific parenting tactic, however you want to do it. But with this method, it's gonna basically mean that you have to be more of a parent. Let's just put it out there. You have to
Yeah.
be even more on your game.
Great advice. Let's talk. Hold that thought. Let's come back to that in a little bit. You're right. We can do that too. We can do that, right?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, I
Action
mean,
step number 1.
I don't
Be a parent.
be a parent that's very proactive. Not just I am present and I'm here, but it's like,
Right.
no, you have to make the awkward conversation. You have to do the work that you don't
Right.
want to do. So
Yeah.
I'm just going to transition to our main point here,
Okay.
since we're talking
So
about.
here's 5 main points on
yeah.
what do we do with this epidemic of
What do we do?
disrespect. Let me give us some insights, some tools. Some of these tools are tools for your mind, and some of these tools are tools for your mouth. Some of these tools are tools for your calendar. So think of this through. Let us, Jordan and I, support you so we can be the great leaders and parents we want to be. Talk to us, Jordan. Let's go deeper.
All right, so we're going to go back to this level of disrespect that we're talking
Mm-hmm.
about. So you could argue that disrespect is usually a symptom of something. right? So many of us parents maybe think that my child has a respect problem. They do not respect me, and I'm going to force them to respect me with whatever you think is the way you want to force them. But is that really respect if you're forcing them to do it? So,
Point.
you're thinking that my child has a respect problem, but we would argue that most kids actually have an emotional regulation problem. Don't we all, right? Even adults have this problem. So when our kids, whatever age they're at, feel, let's say, powerless, anxious, overwhelmed with something, maybe they're exhausted, frustrated, maybe they feel disconnected, whatever it is, they will then express what Sean was talking about at the beginning of the show. They will express attitude towards you. They will maybe throw some shade or sarcasm your way. They'll yell and not be able to control their emotions. They'll roll their eyes. They just shut down and go to their room. So you can kind of look at this as like, okay, my kid doesn't respect me, but it's like maybe they're not respecting you because they don't know how, right? Maybe up to this point you've tried to force them to respect you, and they're like, well, I'm not going to do that until you do what I was saying, become more of an A game on your
Yes.
parental duties.
Right.
You've got to step in and teach them this stuff.
Yes. So instead of saying to yourself, oh my gosh, why is this kid so disrespectful? Oh, this kid needs more discipline.
Yeah.
Say to yourself,
Right.
how do I grow as a teacher and as a motion coach
teacher.
so I can better guide my child in how to manage their emotions into more respectful, connected obedience?
Right. Have you ever had a situation where you're like maybe frustrated at your kid and you ask them like, why did you do that?
Yeah.
Or what were you thinking?
Yes.
Or let's figure this out right now. And they literally don't know how to answer
don't.
it. They don't know how to answer. They don't know how to manage what they're
Right.
feeling. They're still trying to figure it out.
We had a great weekend. On Saturday, we had 10 or 11 10-year-old girls at the house to celebrate my 10-year-old's birthday party. Then we
Nice.
let one of those friends stay the night. So that 10-year-old was now up till midnight with her friend. Wake up early the next day, and it's Father's Day. So we went out in the sun, in the Sacramento heat, 90 degrees, and on a boat for the whole day with friends. Amazing time.
Nice.
Let her stay up late again. And then we wake up early on a Monday to get her ready for the church camp with like 600 kids. And
Gosh.
then she comes home at 12:30 on a Monday, which is yesterday. And guess what happened, my
Okay.
man? Guess.
I could only imagine. So exhausted,
gosh.
maybe a bit of a meltdown, maybe crying out of nowhere.
Oh, dude,
I
everything.
don't know what it was.
Meltdown
but, was it
to
her?
the max. Crying,
Yeah.
raging, name calling, not eating, defiance, just a mess. So is this really a 10-year-old problem? I don't think so. I think it was a parenting problem. We made some bad choices. We pushed a 10-year-old girl we let this girl live in a way that just she's not able to, we didn't put her in a position of success, right?
Right. You got to look at that path. Like what has led up to this point right now? Is this my fault? Is this their fault? Is this both of our faults? Do I need to teach better? Do I need to do a better job? That's great. Great story.
Point number 2. This is pretty deep. I'm really into this. Point number 2. Parents have lost their position. Think about that. Why are so many kids disrespectful? Let me explain. Okay. I think we'd all agree that there's an ancient way, an ancient method of parenting that's good. And it really sets clear that there's a distinct roles for the parent-child relationship. I'm the adult. I'm the parent. I'm the
Listen
one
to me.
should be honored,
I know all.
respected, obeyed.
Yep.
I know it's best. I'm in charge here. That makes sense, right? That's the way it should be.
Totally.
I mean, you look at the little
Yep.
ducks in the
Well,
pond.
respect your
You got a
elders.
little
Yeah.
mama duck, and you got like 50 ducks. And they
Right.
don't like argue with their, one little duck like gets left behind, and they scurry to
Right.
catch up, right? So here's the way it
That's
should
hilarious.
be. Parents are the primary influence, primary authority, primary role model. In what we have today, screens, TikTok, Instagram. We have the Disney Channel which shows a whole culture of
You-
dumb
you and the
doofus
Disney
parents
Channel.
who are dead. And now we got Snapchat, we got Snapchat streaks, we got YouTubers, we got pranks, we got beauty influencers, we got AI. And yeah, we've had friends. We've always had friends, but now we've got Discord, gaming communities. A child can consume more outside influence in one day than previous generations consumed in months.
That's
Parents
true.
have gotten weaker and the competition has gotten stronger.
That's a good point. And it's like, okay, so with that information, what should I do as a parent? Shut it off completely? I mean, I guess you could.
Sure
You
can.
could shut it off completely. Good luck. I mean, they might sneak it behind you. I don't
Well, we've
know.
done
But
a
it
lot
goes back
about.
to my
We
point.
know, yeah,
We have.
we know we got to postpone screens as
We
much
know.
as possible, limit screens as much as
Right.
possible,
But
and
it goes back to my point that I was talking about earlier, where it's like you could parent. We're
yeah,
parenting. We're doing good. We're trying to limit
yeah,
it. But it's like we think we're
yeah,
given 9 out of 10.
right.
We have to jump up to do even
I
more. Like
agree
it's like it can
totally.
be exhausting, dude. Even just talking about it's like, yeah, I want to do that, but it's like,
It is
gosh,
exhausting.
the energy that
It
I
is exhausting.
need to battle this world is
Everything
hard.
beautiful, everything beautiful in life is hard, and so yeah, we actually had to postpone the start of today's podcast because Jordan had an issue with one of his children. He started telling me that issue, and I was like, Jordan, tell that story on the air. That leads us to our next point. So, yes, so what are we going to do about this? Well, in some homes, parents have lost their position. In some homes, they
Hmm.
haven't. But there's also
Right.
something else, point number 3, that I want us to
Okay.
talk about.
That point is we accidentally are training disrespect. We're like allowing it, right? So like this part's going to be tough to hear. Like it's going to resonate hard. So you got to ask yourself like what happens when your child says to you, "Just leave me alone." And then you do that and then you leave them alone. I mean, maybe they do need some space, but how much space do you give them? Are you giving them 5 minutes or are you giving them a week, right? That's something you need to ask yourself. What happens when they yell and eventually get their way? I want this now, right? And you're like, no. And then you're like, oh, I should give in because they should really get the childhood that they want, right? I didn't have this as a child. I should give this to them because they deserve it. What happens
So
when they
good.
refuse,
So good.
right? What happens when they refuse what you're asking? Uh,
Yep.
right? Like, and are you okay with that? Are you
Yep.
just gonna allow that disrespect? So, like today's story with my kid, it was just a level of some teachers and parents don't know where they stand in their role as a teacher or a parent. So this is the example. My kids are at day camp, right? It's a Christian summer day camp. It's like a week, drop off at 9 a.m., pick up at 3 p.m. So we wanted Kinlan to go. Kinlan is 7. He has Down syndrome. And we want him to have a typical childhood, and he's done great. But he has a hard time following directions. He has a hard time sitting and being still. He's got ADHD as well. He's all over the place. And so I've learned how to parent this
And
kid. It's
how
pretty
old
easy
is he?
for me. He's 7.
But that's pretty typical of most 7-year-old boys, what you just described, also, right?
It is, yeah, yeah, but I would say most typical kids, if you were to ask them 3 times, like, "Hey, you can't get out of your group. You have to sit down, and
Okay.
we'll be
Yeah,
done
that's
in
true.
5 minutes,"
True.
they will probably listen.
So,
He does not. He just runs around, tag, you're it, and then you're like, "Dude, we're not playing tag right now," and then he'll run into the street, and you're like, "No, this is not okay."
yeah, yeah. Okay,
So,
okay.
so I get called like, "Hey, Jordan, he's not staying in group and we're trying to do this," and I'm like, okay. So and I asked him like, what do you need from me? And they're like, well, we're just scared for him, we don't want him to get hurt, can you come pick him up? And I'm like, all right, let me go down there. This is our second day in a row picking him up early, and I'm like, hey guys, what's going on? And basically
great.
it's like they didn't know what their role should be. I think this was their first time really trying to do something.
But these adults are
and
like teenage leaders.
both.
Yeah,
Both. You have like a couple adults
Yep.
and then you have a lot of teenage leaders, and so the teenage leaders don't know how, but they all love Kinlan. They're like, we
Of
want
course,
to
he's
play with
lovable.
him and fun.
Yeah.
But when he's not focusing on the group activity, then that student leader can't go chasing for Kinlan because then they leave their group.
Right.
And so it can get a
Yeah.
little hard. So I had to be like, listen, I was like, you guys, you can be firm with him. Do not be. Kinlan will walk all over you, right? I even told him at one point, I'm like, hey, for some reason he respects or listens to guys more. I don't know if it's because we have a louder voice, if we're like, dude, this is our way or the highway, and he'll be like, okay.
Yes.
But he'll walk all over women teachers, or if you're so kind, and you have to be a little more forceful with, we're doing this now, kind of
Yes.
forceful. And then I was like, if he's running away, grab his hand and say, we are holding hands. Nope, we're holding
Yeah.
hands now because you lost your privilege of running. And so they were looking at me and they're like, oh, we can do that? And I'm like, yes, you can do that. They're like, oh, well, now that you said we can do that, well, yeah, let's give it another try. I'm like, yes, you
Right.
can be, and so
So
I
good.
think it was that sense of like
Right.
training disrespect, and Kinlan seems very disrespectful because we're kind of allowing it. It's like, well, he has Down syndrome, so what are we gonna do? And it's like, no, that's not gonna fly. You have to actually be more of a parent or more of a teacher and be more on him, which I get can be hard, but you got to do that so that he's not disrespectful.
Gosh.
And sometimes we have to do that with typical kids.
Great story. Yeah, sometimes we have to do that with typical kids every day, right?
Yeah.
We have to be firm. There's been a lot of great stuff that's come out of the gentle parenting movement, but there's been a lot of confusion and stuff that's messed up. Yes, it's okay to be firm. It's good. Now, here's something too. I think a lot of parents, they have their own excuses of why they're not firm. They make excuses for their child, or maybe their parents were
Sure.
so firm with them, they like went to the other extreme. I can't be firm, or they're afraid of being firm. But that's why we're doing this podcast, to give you the encouragement and point in the right direction. Be firm and do not actionally train disrespect.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
That's very good.
Okay, cool. Next point. All right, point we got two more. So here is something. Let's talk about yelling. Our kids get disrespectful. We get triggered. And what if some of us do? Well, we yell. We yell for a lot of reasons. We yell because it works. It gets their attention.
Yeah.
We yell because we want them to know, hey, this is serious. But when we yell, when we lose control, what do our kids really hear? Do they really hear what we're saying? Probably not. What they really hear
Really?
is, oh, Dad's lost control. Mom is doing her thing. Yelling works because it actually hits on our kids' neurology and their psychology. Cortisol rises, defenses rise, but guess what goes down is listening. It's their nervous system kind of gets shocked. And so when you think about how do we raise respectful kids, remember this. Yelling is not the answer, and that is not our primary parenting tool. That is a tool that we try not to use. It's a default, and we're trying to break these cycles.
Yeah, but I want everyone to know you're going to keep yelling. You can try as hard as you can
Yep.
to not, and it's going to happen. But take what Sean's saying is like, I don't want to yell, but I'm gonna, because I'm gonna get heated, and there's gonna be a point where I'm gonna yell. That's okay. It's gonna happen. But I think it's what you do after the yelling, right? That's where the teaching comes. You're not gonna
agree.
yell and
Yeah.
then they're gonna learn.
Yeah.
It's like, shoot, I yelled. Let me go back and really make sure they heard why I was yelling
Yeah.
and what I meant.
Here's what I like
Yeah.
to say too. I hope you like this. Like, I'm so honored that we have all these listeners on this podcast from all around the country and all around the world. I'm so honored that I have this VIP membership and my monthly Parent Reset membership. And what I like to tell people is the reason why we yell is because we don't know what else to do. We feel lost. We feel like nothing works. So the more you keep empowering yourself with good skills, good tools, then you can use those tools and they'll work better than yelling. And now we're down to our last point. All right. So Jordan, when you think about like, okay, these are things that don't work. These are things that don't raise respectful kids. We talked a lot about that, but when you think about what are some things that do work, what are some things that come to mind for you? How do you've got 3 great kids, 3 respectful kids. You know, I'm just kind of putting you on the spot. I know we have our notes, but what comes to mind for you? What's your go-to answer?
So there was an event that happened last night. My oldest son, wanted to start a pressure washing business to make money so that he could buy one of these death-defying electric motorcycle things we can ride around the neighborhood, right? And hopefully not crash.
An
But all these
e-bike.
kids
He
are
wants
into
an
it.
e-bike.
Yeah, but it's an like dirt bike. It's not like just an
Oh,
e
yeah, they're
bicycle.
hardcore. Yeah.
It's an dirt
Yeah.
bike. Yeah.
Yeah.
and he wants it really bad. It's like freaking $800,000. I'm like, you can get it, but I'm not paying for it. So he's gonna do this business.
Wow,
Well, he
that's
went and
awesome
did it.
story.
Yeah, he did a couple pressure washing jobs, and now he's just like giving up. And he's like, well, now I've decided I want to get an e-scooter because I can afford it.
Okay.
And so we're like, yo, dude, like, you're totally giving up on your goal. Like, what do you mean you're just gonna go because you can afford it? Like, your buddies have these motorcycles, and you wanted to be one of them, and now you don't. Why haven't you gone door to door? Why haven't you made any more money? And he started shutting down, and he started getting really upset, and you could tell he was not happy. And it got to a point where parents were mad, he was mad, and there was all this tension. And I don't think there's a lot of learning happening. And my wife's like, I want an answer right now. I want to figure this out right now. Why doesn't he take care of his stuff? Why, and so we were going to gymnastics, and I was dropping him off, and it was dead silent. There was no talking in the car. It was like, I could tell he was in a mood, and I'm just like, I try to bring up some fun fact that would make him laugh, and he's like, oh. And I'm like, okay, I can tell you are in a mood. And my wife calls, and she's like, did you get it all figured out? Did you talk to him? This is your car ride. You need to talk to him. I'm like, nope. We stayed dead silent the whole drive. That now is not the time to parent.
It's not.
Right? Let him go to gymnastics and sweat this out.
Yeah.
And then we'll re-up
buddy.
later.
Yeah, that's good.
Pick him up from gym. He had the best time in his life. He was all talkative. He was like, yeah. And he's like, I had time to think. I think I want to do this. I want to help you babysit Kinlan. I want to make some money doing that. And I really want to do this. And so it took time to get that. But what I think was important is like the process of like the parenting between what my wife wanted, what I wanted. She wanted answers right now. I said no anytime. What we were trying to do is trying to figure out how our kid could respect our decision with wanting him to get his goal and not cave in on just the easy option. Yeah. And so I think like that it's a whole process. That took like a whole day to figure out. It's not going to happen like this, you guys. Like it literally took a team effort, but trying to create that respect with our son, and that he understands why we came up with the decision that we came up with, and he wants to get the goal of getting what he really wants. So anyway, that long story basically paints a picture of like stuff we try to do to get this relationship to work as we're going into the tween and teen years.
Really good story. Here's a few things that I'm thinking about just to put kind of like labels or to do some parent coaching on that story. Is I just hear a lot of calm leadership in that story. It's like you're leading the conversation, but there's, as a leader, when to push and when to wait.
Yeah, and sometimes one parent doesn't know that and the other does. Like, I even got a call from my wife. She's like, hey, I'm done with this. I'm not going to do this anymore. This is on you. Right. You're going to handle it because because she was getting upset because like she never had this childhood, right? She never got anything from her parents. She had to do it all herself. And now she feels guilty. So she's like, maybe we should just get this for him so he can hang out with his friends because they all have one. And I'm like, no. So it was a whole dynamic, man.
I'm also hearing just like how, I have this little catchphrase, it's like teaching moments don't happen in the moment. You got to know when's the time to let it go and wait. And when is the time your child was physically there, but he really wasn't there until after gymnastics.
Right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
I think that whenever you're thinking about raising respectful kids, I think there's one word that's more important than the other words. And I think the word is connection. I think another word that could be a good word would be time. But the cool thing about connection is that connection is almost better than time, because there's a lot of parents that can't afford to spend a lot of time with their kids because they're working all the time or they're traveling. They're a traveling salesperson. And what I have found in all the research that I've read, as well as what I've experienced, is connection is really more powerful than time. You can have a great connection with a kid and still only spend a little bit of time with them. I mean, if you have a teenager, then you know that, right?
Right. That's true. And sometimes that connection isn't always felt in the moment. It's there. You just have to, you don't have to think, I feel so disconnected, and it's like, that's still part of the connection process. It's not always going to be,
Sometimes people contact me and they're like, yeah, our kid is very, very disrespectful. Our family's in shambles. And I'll say, well, tell me more. What's going on? And they'll say, well, I work a lot and my husband travels a lot. And, we just see our kids here and we need them to be respectful. It doesn't make sense. We've given them everything. Well, you actually haven't. You maybe haven't given
Right.
them the most important thing, the thing that they actually need, the thing that they're actually
Yeah.
wired and built for, which is the human connection, right? You're letting all these other screens and all these other people raise your kids. You may not
Yeah.
have a lot of respect in home, you know,
It's a good point.
right?
Yeah.
I think that another thing that I want to share with you is like you heard me talk a lot about heart talks versus head talks. If you think about these words, respect, connection, love, these are all kind of like feeling words. These are all issues of the heart. Don't you agree? Harmony.
Yeah. It's all that sissy
Yeah,
stuff.
it's all love and connection. And so
Yeah.
what I think you'll find is that if you're having a hard time raising a respectful kid, you might be speaking out of your head or out of your butt
Mhm.
too much.
Okay.
And learn how to
Okay.
really speak from your heart. Help your kids to see your humanity, your feelings. Help them see your heart. Connect with their heart. And if you are new
Yeah.
at this and if you start using heart talks, because this is the main thing I help all my clients with, is really connecting with their kids' heart talks. In the beginning, it might feel really awkward. It might feel weird. Your kids might even make fun of you because it's not a part of your
Yeah.
home culture. Then don't give up on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I'm gonna have to learn, or we are gonna have to learn to do that if we haven't done that. It's hard to do. Like, I'm trying to illustrate this, but I'm not doing it effectively. How can I? It's almost like you have to ask yourself, how can I do this different? Oh, well, maybe I should lead with like the way I'm feeling and what is going on in my body and my mind,
Right.
because right now I'm just trying to get the point across. It's not working. So it's, hey, this is why I'm trying to get this point across. I feel blah 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 blah, and it really upsets me
Yeah.
when blah 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 blah, and maybe I shouldn't be upset, but I am upset, and I just want to make sure you know that. I don't know. It's like trial and
Right.
error.
That's why I think our kids are like the greatest invitation we'll ever receive. It's an invitation to do like this deep work on ourselves, to become the best version of ourselves, to break patterns. Because, I know you do agree with this. Like, you can't teach what you don't know. So this is why people listen to this podcast and are a part of this community. Thank you so much, because we're trying to break cycles here. I wasn't raised with any of these skills. And the kids and my wife are the most important things, most important people, goals in my life. And so let's just all keep up the good work. How do we keep
Okay.
doing that work to be the loving, calm, firm leaders that we want to be? And I think that's a nice way to
Yeah.
end our show. What do you think?
I think so too. And I think we all need to encourage each other, right? I mean, it's needed more than ever. It's kind of hard if you don't really encourage your friends to do it, but it's like if I know a friend of mine is going through something with their kid and they're figuring it out and they're actually vulnerable with me to talk to me about it, I just feel so much more of a bond with them, and I can give them
Yeah, buddy.
like, hey, here's where you're doing great.
Yes.
Like, keep it up. I know you're getting across to them. Like, just don't give up, because if we don't hear that, we're just going to give up and think it's not working.
So just to echo what Jordan just said, everybody, your kids are watching. They're learning from you. So don't give up. We are cheerleading you on. You can do this. Today is a new day for you to keep loving and keep leading. We'll see you guys next time.